Welcome back to the 801 Diaries podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Abby.
And welcome back to the first official book club episode.
Welcome back to the first book club episode.
Abby, don't even.
Welcome back to the first ever of
Welcome
this.
to the first ever.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Happy
Hunger Games.
No, happy 801 Diaries Book Club.
Yeah.
Meeting Juan.
With our favorite.
The Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games.
Hopefully everyone read and everyone
is ready to talk.
Is ready to discuss because we are.
Boy, are we.
Boy, are we.
This is so good.
Okay, just as a reminder, we're talking about the book. In 2 weeks, we're going to talk about the movie.
Yep.
So, watch this episode, reminisce on the book, and then go watch the movie and come back in 2 weeks and we'll be talking about
the movie.
But we will not be talking about the movie today.
I know, which is going to be...
As much as we can.
As we can.
Well, we'll try our very, very best.
Yeah. I'm going to try not to compare.
Yes, because that is for the movie time, I think.
That's for movie time. Because I do think... Because I haven't read this book... Okay. I haven't read this book in a long
Literally
time.
Since 2008.
Yeah, whenever this came out. And
2008.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Yes.
They're all good, quite honestly.
Yes.
It was a crazy great book, but I was not... It's just been a while.
It's just been a while, and I feel like I'm so well versed in the movie.
Yep.
That I had forgotten the original text a little bit.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun to get back into it.
Yes.
How do we want to do this?
Let's just start overall 1 to 10. Rank it 1 to 10.
I'm gonna say like a 7.
I was gonna say I'll give it like a 7.5.
Yeah.
7.63. Maybe.
Yeah. That was so specific.
I was thinking that I was reading like, wow, this feels like a 7.63.
Yeah, I think right in that spot is kind of where I live as well.
Yes.
I went into it really trying to just forget about the movie.
Yes.
It was kind of hard.
It was kind of hard just because, I think it's hard when you have a visual of something to create your own visual of it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
It was Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson. It was Woody Harrelson. There's only so much of that I can
see.
Yeah, and
it can't separate
from each other.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do feel like I tried really hard to look at this as its own piece of media.
Well, I thought what that was kind of fun about it was having I do really like having the visuals of the movie while I do it, because I feel like while I read it, because I am a fairly visual person. So it was kind of nice in the things that were different from the book, that were more in the book than in the movie, to kind of picture Katniss doing them.
Yeah, it gave me frame of reference, I think, which was helpful.
Very grounding, I feel like, because I feel like sometimes you can kind of just get
lost in the sauce
everywhere. So, I really liked it, though.
Yes, I will say I have, for some reason, been torturing myself with a lot of heavy reading as of late. And
what else are you reading?
The Odyssey, Hamlet.
Yeah.
I've been reading a lot of really hard books, so this was such a freaking relief. I read this in 2 days.
Yes.
It was a quick read. It was
so nice.
And I think also because I know the story so well, it was a really easy read.
Breeze through
it was so nice. I'm like, this, I think I've been kind of not liking reading for the past little bit, because
you've been trying to read the Odyssey and
I've kind of been torturing myself with, which are books I love.
Yeah, no, they're
great. But they are hard books to read. And I think maybe I should be throwing in a couple of silly books. Yeah. Not that this is a silly book, but YA
books.
Easier to read books in between as kind of a palate cleanser.
No, I think that's a great move.
Because this book was fun to read.
So fun.
It was easy.
It just
was an easy read.
I think that's one thing that really did shock me, is I was sitting that first hour into reading, and I was I'm 60 pages in.
Literally.
I was I don't read, so I feel my reading is at a lower level than I remember. I don't
consider myself a fast reader at all, but it was a page a minute at least.
It was
it was pretty quick.
I mean, it's pretty big words.
Yeah, and there's big margins. It's not that thick. I feel like I remember these books being a lot thicker.
Yeah, but
maybe that's because we had hardcovers before, didn't we?
We did.
I feel like they looked bigger.
But also, I don't know, maybe just growing up And I also think that, like, where we are so familiar with the story, it's a quick read. Yeah. But
I will say one of the hardest things about reading this book now, I would say, is I could not get Sunrise out of my head.
I could not get it out at all.
I will just briefly talk about this because we talk about Sunrise too much, and we will get there.
We'll get there.
But I liked it. I felt way more well-informed of a reader, because one of the big critiques I hear about this book is that because it is a first-person book.
And it's, you get it, like, live perspective. There's no, like, flashbacks. Yeah. There's, like, 2.
Yeah, but everyone always says that Katniss is an unreliable narrator, which...
Everybody is.
That is one of my least favorite critiques of a first-person book, because everyone is... Of course, she doesn't know the context of what everyone else is thinking.
Exactly.
Like, it drives me nuts. Mm-hmm. But also, because of Sunrise being so much context to
this book.
This book specifically.
This storyline.
That I feel like I understood Katniss a lot more, if that makes sense, because I understood...
Agreed.
Way more about her parents, like, District 12, like, the whole... Like, I feel like I had so much more context. For Katniss specifically. Mm-hmm. Even though Sunrise is not about Katniss at all, like, it just... I felt like such a...
I felt more connected to it.
More connected to it.
I agree. I completely agree. I think I had the same kind of thoughts as I was going through it, and I think that was... It was a pro and a con, I felt like, because I really wanted, and I should have thought that I wasn't going to get this because I know too much, but I really wanted just kind of that fresh, this is what I know of the Hunger Games experience, and I obviously did not get that because there was, like the first thing, we open on Sunrise on the Reaping, and I think it's July 4th, it's Hamish's birthday. That is immediately...
It's Reaping Day. It's
Hamish's birthday. It's July 4th. Yep. You know, like, it was kind of interesting to have those little things, and then to go through, like, with Madge in the seam, you know?
Literally, I'm not even kidding. She gave her that pin which is, again, something I didn't realize, after she'd been reaped, she gets the pin. And I literally started crying.
I was like, oh no.
Oh my gosh, it's Mace Lee's pin.
It's Mace Lee's pin. It was things like that, or, you know, PETA talking about how his dad knew his mom back in the day, and I'm like, well, we know that, you know,
like, and Burdock was a great singer, and like all of these kinds of
things,
we're like,
yeah, he was.
There's just so much more context to it that adds just another layer of heartbreak.
And I thought it was really, and I mean, I don't know if we're gonna go scene by scene, but one thing that, like, again, with this context of Sunrise that was killing me was just, like, the way Haymitch cared but was aloof at the same time.
Yep.
And especially knowing Burdock and Haymitch's history, and like in Astrid and Haymitch, like, it just, like...
Well, the thing, like, they talk about in the book, like, or Katniss talks about, the only thing she really knows about Haymitch is she would see him buying alcohol in the seam. The Hob. Or is that what it's called? The Hob, I think it's called.
The Hob is the marketplace. The seam is the group, like, the area.
The place, yeah. But he would buy alcohol in the Hob. And in Sunrise, it talks about how he saw her there, like, with Burdock. Like, there's just, like, such an extra layer of, like, heartbreak to it. I don't know.
So it was really interesting to go into it with that. And can I tell you, before we even get more into it, I'm scared for the next book.
Guys, okay. So when Sunrise came out, and let's talk about this really quick, and then we'll move on.
Sorry.
When Sunrise first came out, people reread Catching Fire, and there is a very long description of Haymitch's games in Catching Fire that I do not remember.
I don't remember
because, again, I haven't read these books since 2010, somewhere around there, and
I'm scared.
I'm so nervous.
I'm really scared.
I'm so nervous.
I'm really scared because of how much just context we have from this book alone.
Yes.
That, like, Catching Fire is going to kill me.
We get it from the Capitol's view in Catching Fire. So it's going to be really interesting to see, because they have to rewatch, or they don't have to. They rewatch all of the old games of the victors. But so to watch it through the Capitol's lens when we know the story, it's going to be so interesting.
Yeah.
But moving on.
Sorry. this is why we created this specific episode of the podcast, because we could talk about this forever, and especially getting into this more, it's even worse. Yes. So sorry, we're insufferable in this, and that's okay.
And we love the Hunger Games
because this is our podcast.
This is our podcast,
and it's not our normal episode.
And we know you love the Hunger Games too.
If you're watching this episode.
Okay. Anyways, so one thing that I thought was interesting in this book, because it is a first-person perspective, is we did not get a lot of the context that you get in the movie. I don't want to compare it to the movie very much, but like, there's just so many things that
are just the way they are.
Yeah. And that's just because Katniss only knows what she knows, which I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with, because I do think there is context that could be helpful to the story and everything. But that's not what this book is.
But that's not. But I also think that like that's what the concept of the Hunger Games is, just propaganda, and so Katniss has been propagandized by the Capitol. Yes. And so all we know is what she knows from the Capitol.
Yes.
And that's like the whole underlying theme of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. They're so cut off, and they have no way to learn more, gain more information, anything. Like, they only know what they know.
Yeah.
And so I think it further proves that point and further pushes that theme along, where she only knows what she knows. And we can only know what she knows.
Yeah.
I really actually enjoyed. And that also could have been because we do have more context. Like we know. We are the first time reading this book, so we do know that other context.
But I also don't remember that bothering me the first time I read it.
I don't either. But I mean...
Again, it was a long time ago.
I wasn't thinking as deeply as I am now. Like,
I was 12.
And, you know... And living for this.
Yeah, but I just think... But I also think that that's part of it, is when we look at it, Katniss is a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
It's not like and she's from District 12, where she has snuck under the fence to get out.
Like, every day has been about survival for her.
Yeah, so she doesn't have a lot of context. She doesn't know. I mean, you look at, like, when they're on the train and they get to the Capitol, like, she's seeing the mountains of the Rockies, and, like, the Capitol's grander, but she's also just kind of, like, she's in awe, but also just, like, so confused.
Yeah.
Like, she just doesn't even know what to think when she's exposed to these things, because she just never has been.
Yep. Even, like, consistent electricity, she talks about, is a brand new concept to her. They would get electricity for maybe a couple hours a day, like, on a good day, unless they were showing the Hunger Games.
And then they always could have it.
Then they could always have electricity. Even things like that, like, to have that be an eye-opening experience for Katniss...
of course we're not
tells so much about her character. I think.
No, I completely agree. I thought that was just really interesting. I think also one thing that I think I didn't, or I have not remembered in the past, is just, it was really interesting to hear her, and I don't know if this is necessarily where we're going, but this is something that my thought is right now, is to hear her first person opinions about people and her thoughts 100%. About people, and how, generally speaking, she was skeptical of people, but also trusting pretty easy. Like, Cinna, she was instantly trusted. But she was so apprehensive with Peeta.
Yes.
And I thought that was...
I think that is so interesting.
I thought, like, it was so... Like, I think that surprised me more than anything. Like, I knew she was, like, whatever, but it was so crazy how she just felt like she couldn't trust anything with Peeta.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, but
Which, I mean, makes sense.
Makes total sense.
He's in there to kill her. Like, as nice as he was, or things like, I think it definitely makes sense for her to be super apprehensive when it comes to Peeta, especially.
Yeah.
Because why would someone be being so nice when in 2 days they're gonna try and murder you? Yeah. Like, I think that's totally fair, but I also think, like, I think it was really interesting to me to see just how unaware she was of how evil the Capitol was. Like,
yes.
And how evil the Hunger Games were. Like, she had just been... It just was her reality that she didn't really understand, like, how, like, evil and how brutal these things were.
How would she?
Yeah, I mean, it was the only thing she knew.
Like, she had no idea. And I mean...
But I think Haymitch was immediately... And I don't want to say Katniss was for the games at all, but, like, he was immediately rebellious.
Yeah.
Where Katniss wasn't. It was funny, the games finished in the book, and I'm like, other than, like, the berries, she didn't really do anything rebellious. Like, for her to become the face of the rebellion is interesting.
Which is a very interesting concept, because we've talked about this. I do not like Plutarch. Mm-hmm. And like rereading this and seeing how she truly fell into her Mockingjay, and he propagandized her to become the Mockingjay, just makes me sad for her. Yeah. Because she didn't ask for any of this. She didn't, like, and again, I'm not going back to it, but also going back to it. Haymitch knew about the rebellion to some degree when he went into his games. Like, he had already...
Him and Plutarch
had a plan.
Him and Beetee had a plan.
Like there was talk about it, but Katniss
did not.
And suddenly, just because she's a girl trying to survive, and she, at the end with the berries, like, it is a rebellion, but it's also a way to survive.
But it also wasn't, we're going to do this to stick it to the Capitol.
Yeah.
It was, they promised us something and changed it last minute.
So we're going
to react to that. Like, it wasn't, this is an act of rebellion.
Exactly.
Where with Haymitch it was.
Yeah.
Like, I think,
and
it's just, I think that was one of the saddest things I found in this book, was just how, like, she was so taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Because she did not want it. She did not know what was happening. Like,
she just was a girl that got put in a really unfair situation. Because, I mean, the berries was, like, realistically the most rebellious thing she did, but she also did, like, shoot the apple at the training to, but again, it wasn't rebellious. But I could see how the Capitol would take it as rebellion. Sure. And then when Rue dies and she decorates, and everything like that, and how District 11 kind of take, and, like, they buy her the bread and they take that but again, Katniss wasn't doing that to be rebellious, but I can see how especially someone like Plutarch, who's in the back, is like, this is the girl.
I think with the Rue thing is they didn't show her in flowers. Like, it says specifically at the end, they do not show the rose or the flowers they put around her. So the Capitol had already spun that differently. Like, was it rebellious? Like, it was a little bit stick it to the Capitol, like, stick it to these people who killed this girl, but it wasn't. It was interesting because it was never really against the bigger system at large. It was the boy from one. It was, like, those kinds of things. Like, she was so, like, narrow-minded about these things, which, again, it makes sense. I'm not knocking her for that. It makes sense where she did, but, like, that it's really interesting to me that to see this part of the story before the rebellion.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's just an interesting thing, and so kind of back to the original point that we came from, is her being an unreliable narrator. Of course.
That's why it bugs me so bad when people knock this book for that.
Because she didn't even, like, she didn't know.
No. Like, and how could she? And that's not the point. If the point of the story was to give you all of the context and all of the history and everything like that, it wouldn't be a first person.
Yeah. Like, it wouldn't be a first person.
We are meant to go along with the story Katniss. As Katniss goes.
Or quite literally, Suzanne Collins would have released these in timeline order.
Yep.
Like, if she wanted us to have all the context, not all the context, but a lot more context of how Snow helped with the games and how they became what they did, she would have started with Ballad. She would have gone to Sunrise. Like, and then,
I mean, yes, also I do think if she would have released Ballad first, no one would have cared.
Yeah.
So, like, I do understand
I think the release order is perfect. No, I agree. But I think that if her goal, her overarching goal, was to give us context
and to build this
and
world
to build the world
originally,
then she would have started this way.
No,
she didn't want that.
No,
she wanted us to
go with the story,
be as blind as Katniss. Yeah, and I think that was so smart, so great. So yeah, I think that's one thing that I was really intrigued about.
Okay, let's get into the book a little bit.
Okay.
What did you... where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Gail?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I really tried my hardest to forget about all that comes next.
About the Prim Reaper?
With the Prim Reaper. And again, and I think I did a good job of that. I think, I agree. Genuinely looking at Gale at this point in the story, how he's been brought up, like, I think there's a lot more sympathy for Gale than we give him.
In this book.
In general. I mean, even his actions in the further books are stem from his upbringing and everything that he had to endure.
Yeah.
And so I think we do need to give him a little bit more compassion. Still the Prim Reaper, but we do need to give him a little bit more compassion.
Okay.
I do not understand how there was ever a Team Gale even in this book.
Yeah, that was... There is no... I think, quite honestly, the Team Gale of it all...
Came from Twilight?
Came from Twilight.
I agree 100%.
Because there's no reason for it, but it was also the time... Like, this book came out when Twilight was airing.
Yeah, like, it was the time of ships.
And, like, I get it. But this was not the place... Because Katniss even says...
Katniss doesn't like him like that.
No, and she like, blatantly says that, like, nothing would ever happen with Gale.
Yes.
And I think that's just kind of where you have,
I think it's interesting.
I think it was really interesting.
I think going back and reading it with all of the, like, pop culture lore that we have around these people now, I'm like, I don't know how we ever got there. I don't know
how we got there.
Other than, I mean, he was technically an option.
Technically.
But not really. She didn't want him.
Especially in this book.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the Team Gale aspect comes into it more catching fire.
Yeah,
maybe not in the book, but in the movie.
In the movie. We'll see when we get there.
But, I thought it was... He just was, like, just a pal. And he just...
Also, he is so annoying. He is so, like, whiny.
Yes.
And I hate how Katniss is always worried about his feelings. And I know this is coming from Katniss's perspective, so we can't necessarily blame Gale for that, necessarily.
But I want to.
Because why is she always concerned about his feelings?
I honestly think that's one of my biggest beefs with Katniss in general.
Yeah.
Is her caring of Gale, but that sounds bad. But like the way that she goes about trying to protect him or shield him from something is crazy to me.
It's crazy.
And she did that the whole time.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, it seemed like she didn't correct him when he called her catnip at first, really.
No, she did.
She said Katniss, and then he goes catnip, and then they just kind of moved on.
Well, no, I think she corrected him, and then like cats like kind of were around her, so he kept calling her catnip.
Interesting.
But I don't like, and again, it's just really hard because there's so much I have so much more context for Gale than what this book gives. So trying to just base it off this book, he's just hard. He's hard to like because he made everything about him. Like when they were
that's it.
When they were talking about leaving, it was like, oh, we could do it. I could do it. Like, and Katniss is like, you have brothers, you have a mother, I have a sister, I have a mother. Like he just kind of made everything about him.
Yes.
And it was really annoying.
It's very annoying. And I think that's exactly it. He's very, and I think that's one of the reasons why Katniss is so worried about him and his feelings, because he's so worried about himself.
Him and his feelings.
Like, and she's just worried about that. So I think that
I mean, he's a 17-year-old boy.
Again,
I think that context, I think remembering how young these kids are is important.
That they are children.
That they are literal children is important, because I think we look at them expecting them to make more informed, mature decisions when they are literal children.
They're children. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point. One thing that I noticed, especially before we got to the Capitol, while we were still in District 12, one thing I felt so bad for Katniss is she never took a second to worry. Like, and I know this is our criticism with Gale, but she never took a second to think about herself. Mm-hmm. She was never.
Yes. Well, I think there's nuance in everything. So yeah. Those two things can't exist at the same time.
Right.
But I think...
And I just...
she was 11 when her dad died, I think. From 11, she was...
She was trying to figure out ways to get Tesserae to take care of her family. At 11.
Because I'm looking at you.
Freaking Astrid.
Mama Everdeen. What are we doing? What are we... That, literally, Also, the other only thing in my brain while reading this was Hunger Games. Literally, when we find PETA painted on the ground, all I can see is the little eyeshadow smeared on this kid's face. Anyways,
all I could see
so great
was Grace going, Mom, going now. I could not.
So great.
It was so bad. I could not.
But I think I forgot, just genuinely how checked out her mom was. The fact at 11 years old, Katniss had to be the sole provider for her family is insane. Insane. And her mom never apologized for that.
No, she did not.
Which I think is wild. I think if I was her mom and my daughter, who was the sole provider, pulled me out of this depression, made our family survive, got us to where we are, was leaving for the Hunger Games, I'd be like, you know what? That was my bad. I should have stepped up. I'm sorry I put this on you.
Yeah, but
my bad.
Instead, Katniss goes, Mom, you can't check out.
Yeah.
And she goes, I won't check out this time, but I could have saved myself last time if I would have had the medicine. And Katniss goes, take the medicine. You have it
the
this time.
Medicine now. Take it. The medicine. It was frustrating.
That was crazy to me. I was like, why
I agree.
Is 16-year-old Katniss parenting you to make sure you don't check out on the 12-year-old?
Literally.
What are we doing?
Literally.
I can't.
It was wild.
It was.
I do not like Mama Everdeen. I'm sorry.
No.
You have lost my respect.
Yeah. You don't get it back.
No. But
still,
I will say Prim was not as annoying in this as I remember her being, which might be a movie thing. I remember Prim just being so freaking annoying to me. She was not as annoying in this. She wasn't in it as much.
I will say, there was nothing that irked me more than tuck in your tail, little duck.
Little duck. Quack, quack.
Hated that.
Okay, but that has always been
the worst.
That's always. I mean, that's always hashtag cringe. You know what I mean?
It always is. But I was real feeling it. I was like, please don't you dare. It's and then all I could see was Grace.
Tuck in your tail, little duck.
I could not. That was one scene that I could not get Hunger Games but better out of my head for. But yeah, Prim was not nearly as annoying.
I think frustrating. Even at the reaping, when she gets reaped, when Prim gets reaped, it wasn't as annoying as I remember. I don't know. I just remember Prim being so annoying.
Yeah.
And that could be movie, but nothing against the actress who played her. But
yeah,
I don't know.
But it wasn't.
It felt a lot more heartfelt than I remember. It did feel a lot more like family protecting family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus an annoying girl getting out of trouble. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I agree.
I liked Prim a lot better in this read. I also thought it was interesting how Katniss compared herself to Prim a lot. There was always kind of a comparison of Katniss she was hunting, she was doing all this. Prim was a medic. Prim could do all of these things. I think it was interesting how they kind of did foil each other a little bit.
Well, I kind of always felt like Katniss viewed Prim as what Katniss could have been had she had the opportunity.
Yeah.
That's
well, Prim had her childhood protected in a way that Katniss
didn't. And I think Katniss really tried to protect that as hard as she could. Mm-hmm. But I always just reading it, I really felt not that Katniss wanted to be a medic or that would have even fit her personality necessarily, but had Katniss had that childhood protection, what she could have done.
Well, and it also felt like Katniss, like, Prim had the chance to find what she was good at.
Yeah.
Where Katniss was forced to become good at something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, she didn't have the opportunity to discover things that she liked or things that she was good at. She was forced to hunt. If she didn't hunt, her family died. Like, I think there was
which again is so sad to put on an 11-year-old.
But I think there's like an autonomy and a like ability for choice that was taken away from Katniss
I agree.
Prim did have because of Katniss.
Because of that, yeah. No, I agree. What was one thing? Okay, so I was telling Abby this. I sat down when I first started reading, and I whipped out a pen. And I was like, I'm going to take notes in this book. And I just happened upon one thing that killed me inside a little bit. Again, going back to a little bit more context that we have from the latest release. It talks about the first time we see Haymitch in this book. Mm-hmm. He comes out. And it's right when Katniss volunteers.
Yes.
And he
falls off the stage.
He says, with every camera gleefully trained on him, he falls off stage.
Yes.
Which
feels like, okay, again, because we have the context, feels like such a protection of Katniss.
And
like,
I think it was.
I would say I think Haymitch was my favorite character in the book because we have so much context and like really understand this man now. Yeah. I think before reading it, he definitely wasn't. But I also think, shout out to Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson really brought him to life in a way that I think has benefited the character more than anyone else.
Yeah.
But every single thing that Haymitch did, like, you can see how it was a protection of Katniss. And it's interesting because Katniss obviously can't and doesn't understand that.
And she really doesn't think he's doing, like, she just thinks he's a drunk who fell off stage.
Yeah.
Which, again, we don't actually know because we only hear this from Katniss's perspective. I don't think that's what happened.
No. Or he was drunk.
He was drunk.
Like, that is a fact. But I do think there was purpose behind everything he did, where, at least, most things he did. There was purpose behind that wasn't easily noticed by those who don't know Haymitch. No one knows Haymitch, so how could they know?
But I thought it was interesting because it like throughout the whole book, you know, and he comes in at different times, goes away, you know, when he's drunk, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But then, you know, when he needs to show up for sponsors or whatever, he shows up sober, might be a little angry and a little grouchy, feisty. But, you know, but he shows up in the way that he needs to. And I just think that that's really cool.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting parts of the book is that scene where you can see Haymitch realize that these people have a chance.
Yes.
On the train. Like, I think that was something that I didn't really it's kind of glossed over in the movie. So I kind of I didn't understand it as well, or I didn't realize it was as spelled out as it was.
Because it's real, like, Katniss even says, like, oh, he realizes
we stand a chance.
We have a chance.
And I think it's really interesting because you can see that Haymitch really just didn't want to put himself in another position to be hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I think through all of these years that he's been mentor and he's been kind of just fumbling around is because he didn't want to get attached to anyone. He didn't want that to happen when he knew there was no chance. But the second he knew there was a chance, he was all in and he was helping and he was doing everything he could, coming up with things to help them give it their best shot.
Well, I'm also curious if, quite honest, like, again, because we have no context of anything between game 51 and 74. Like, we don't know what happened in those ones.
We hear a little bit of what different arenas might have looked like, those kinds of things.
But from the perspective of Haymitch as a mentor, we don't know. Maybe he was always not necessarily doing the exact same things that he was doing for Katniss and Peeta, but maybe he was like showing up because and again, this is really hard not to talk about Sunrise in all of this because we do have so much more context for him now than we did, but we don't get to see that. And like the Capitol's not going to show that so nobody's going to even, so everyone's just going to just see him fall off stage drunk, and that's what they're going to think of Haymitch. Yeah. And that's what everybody's like, Katniss included, everybody is. And so, but the Haymitch that we know,
well, again, even in Sunrise, which we're not talking about, but in Sunrise at the end, he talks about how, I mean, he not only drinks to forget, but he drinks because it keeps people away. And it keeps people from coming close, giving the Capitol someone else to hurt. Yeah. To punish Haymitch. So I think, again, coming at it from that perspective, it just adds a different layer to his actions.
It's just, I can't. Okay, so back to the Hunger Games.
To not talk about Sunrise.
Who's another great character we could talk about?
Cinna. We love Cinna. Okay, but also, this also surprised me. Cinna's not in it as much, and we're not given very much information about Cinna.
No.
Like, we get that he's nice.
And he volunteered for District 12.
He really wanted to help Katniss. He gave her the pin. Like, he did really look out for Katniss, but
we don't know anything.
We don't know why. Else. We don't know any kind of motivation behind it. Like, all we know is that he's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we just don't know.
Which is interesting. I thought we got a lot more. And maybe we do in Catching Fire. I just can't remember.
We just don't know.
Didn't get that much information about Cinna.
And but it was good. He was great. He really did a lot for them. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but there wasn't much. I don't know if I just missed this in every moment of the Hunger Games until this moment. For some reason, I thought Cinna was also Peeta's dresser. He was not.
So Portia's not really in the movie. I mean, she is a little bit, but not really. Not really. I don't think she has any lines in the movie. Yeah. And also their like younger helpers aren't in the movie at all. And okay.
The Avox.
The Avoxes. That's they are not in the movie at all. And
I will say this one should have been.
Honestly, okay. This is what we need to do. Jennifer, Josh, Haymitch, Woody. We need a shot for shot.
Shot for shot.
And if that means it's R-rated, that means it's R-rated. You know, like, I want a shot for shot remake. Keep the same actors. Y'all did a great job.
Yeah, I literally don't care that you're...
I don't care that you're old. Not old, but you're older.
You're 15 years old. Okay? I literally don't care.
Literally don't care. Please, shot for shot, because this was incredible. But I remember there being Avoxes in the book. I remember that character, but they weren't in the movie at all, so I didn't realize how...
humanizing it was for Katniss.
How, like, frequently they appear in the book, and how big of a impact that they had on Katniss.
Especially the redhead girl. Yeah, I had completely forgotten about her, but when she... And honestly, this is what I loved about Peeta as well, is he was so quick to jump in and, like, help Katniss out when she was kind of in a stuck, like, oh no, I shouldn't know this person because X, Y, and Z. And he was right there to jump in and didn't even question it. Mm-hmm. And then it was so sweet to have Katniss have, like, she had that hard day and she threw she destroyed her room.
Threw her dishes all around.
And the sweet little redheaded girl helped her clean up. Mm-hmm. Katniss was able to talk to her. Yep. And, like, understand that she wasn't mad at her. Because I honestly, where Katniss was able to pull that out so quickly, I bet that's been eating at her for a long time.
Well, I think and Katniss does talk about the importance of, like, settling the score. Like, people do owe, like, in the scene, people owe each other things. Yeah. It's a big deal. So I do think she's obviously tried her best to do things for herself, not rely on anyone. But the two instances we do have of her feeling like she owes somebody is the Red Avox girl and Peeta with the bread.
Yeah.
And I think, and those are two obviously very forming moments in her life.
Life-altering moments for her.
Yeah. Which I think is a really interesting character choice for Katniss. Like for her to have that kind of effect because someone did something for her.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was also, especially with the redheaded Avox girl, I was very intrigued. I know that, like, and I don't fall down this rabbit hole. I know a lot of people think that Katniss's first reaping was rigged. I don't think it was. I don't fall in.
Prim's?
Yeah, like that Prim and then Katniss being.
I don't think that.
I don't fall there. I don't fall down that was a rigged thing, but I am very curious. Out of all the Avoxes in the world, how did the one that Katniss, because we know Snow is so intentional with these
every single thing
little things that I'm so happy that Katniss did get like the closure moment with her, and they were able to have like a good relationship, and like the way that it worked out was great. But I'm curious. And again, we have no idea. But especially knowing like more context of Snow, because
that's the thing. Well, because Snow tortures these people without drawing blood. Like he finds ways to torture people by putting them in scenarios or taking things away from them or giving them these things. Like he's so methodical about it. Like that. It wouldn't surprise me if it was intentional. Yeah.
But and again, like she at that point when she gets to interact with her, she hasn't met Snow. She doesn't know. Yeah. She hasn't had those interactions with him. But us again with that wider perspective, it's very interesting to kind of like wonder.
Well, it makes you wonder like how much did Snow know about Katniss? I mean, obviously the Peacemakers knew she was in the woods hunting. Like there was a bit of a blind eye being turned to what she was doing because what she was doing was very illegal.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder. I mean, not that I think Snow's worrying about individual people necessarily in different districts, but in a way he does.
He does. Well, and especially with the context of District 12, there is the seam and the fence, there's I've heard like people are like, they always wonder, like, is the reason the fence isn't always fully electric is so Lucy Gray can come back, There's
things like that.
There's things like that. But so I feel like I would think in Snow's madness that he would be watching the fence of District 12. Yeah. Quite, like, just...
I think that's totally fair.
And so, and if she's crossing it every day...
I think someone's bound to notice.
Someone's gonna know. Yeah. And especially... And I know that it seems inconsequential of, like, the idea of, like, why does Snow care about a 16-year-old girl that's crossing a fence to hunt? But if you put the context of Snow in District 12, Lucy Gray, how
Snow is freaking crazy.
Yeah, and you put the things of with Lenore Dove, with Ma and Sid, you put all these things together. I feel
Katniss's parents being friends with Haymitch.
Yeah.
Like, there was plenty of connections there.
That I feel like Snow would take extra attention to District 12. Also, there's only 8,000 people in all of District 12.
Yes, I was shocked about that too.
I don't know why I thought there were more.
Well, they talk about, I think maybe it's in a different book, they talk about it might be honestly during Ballot, they talk about how many people died during the war.
Yeah.
And like the famine that came after that, and like how it just wiped out insane amounts of people.
Yeah.
And so to have that happen, and then people consistently dying of starvation or illness or things like that in District 12, it does make sense that it's a smaller population, but 8,000.
That's
over. I'm pretty sure District 12 is most of Appalachia. Like,
yeah,
it's a pretty big
district.
But I also wonder how much of it is like
concentrated.
Yeah, like how much land is actually livable land versus the fenced out woods.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you look at like Salt Lake, which again,
the capital. This is canon.
This is canon. We live in the capital. We are capital. Wild things to think about.
Yeah.
But,
might be.
But you think about Salt Lake, 8,000 people, it's like blocks.
Literally.
Like, it's not
that many people at all.
And the thing is you could, and like, if you really think about Snow being able to know what's going on, he's
only keeping track of 8,000 people.
Yeah. And then the girl that's sneaking out, yeah, that's gonna pull some red flags real fast, because it sounds like nobody else is sneaking out.
Yep.
It's just Katniss and Gale.
Yep.
You know, and so I think that, like, it's very interesting to think of, like, all these different things of how Snow could be actually very tuned in to what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, even if he doesn't think, because I don't think anybody thought she would grow up to become the Mockingjay and everything, but, like, that's something to keep an eye on, especially also if we do think she's, like, related to the Covey. He's keeping an extra close eye on the Covey, you know? And I just think that, like, so back to the Avox, I'm really curious
if there was any intention.
If there was intention, which I think there probably was.
I'm sure there
was. Because there's so few people.
Oh, I know. To pick.
Yeah.
To have that be a coincidence is crazy.
And I just think that Snow is crazy.
I also think with all the technology they have things in the woods. They could see things.
They know what's going on.
The hovercraft, I'm sure, had cameras. They could see.
Like, they knew Katniss was out there. Like, it's not.
There's just no way.
Yeah. So
they didn't know.
Yeah. So I think that that's just kind of it
is an
interesting kind of, and again, playing through all of the book, you know, and
I love how she comes back at the end. I think, like, and we're jumping around a little bit here, but
we've been jumping around
after everything going through the games. I think not that President Snow intended it this way or anything, but like that was such a kindness for her to be able to have that familiar face and that kind of friendship that they had formed. Yeah. Was really sweet. And so I do think I really did enjoy the Avoxes in the story. Like, I do think that is a miss.
I fully agree. Yeah. I think that was a big miss in all of this. Yeah. So
one other thing that I found interesting in the book is we don't get nearly any context on the other tributes. We don't even get names till the very end.
Nope. Not
a couple of them.
Only a few. Like, true. I mean, we never, like, do we even get Foxface's name?
Foxface was a nickname that
Katniss gave her.
Like, we never get her name. We got Rue's name. We got Thresh's. No, at the beginning. I think we got Rue and Thresh's name. But I think that was it for district people.
Like, we just didn't.
We didn't get them. Like, it was interesting to me, like, when Rue dies. Mm-hmm. And I can't think of his name. The boy from District 1 who kills her, Dennis Quaid's son.
And Meg Ryan's.
And Meg Ryan, yes. Jack. They, like, when he's the boy from District 1. Like, I really found that super interesting that she didn't take the time to register that these were people. It almost felt like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
and I wonder if that was intentional from the mentors or the game makers or someone to keep that separate, or if that was just Katniss.
I mean, I think that's a lot of Katniss in general, just because, I mean, we look at, like, with Peeta, how she was so, like, weary and scared of letting him in at all because he was there to kill her. And where, like, these people literally were there to kill her. Literally. Do you know what I mean? Like,
there was no WWE there.
And also, if I didn't, again, I feel like I've watched the movie so much that I didn't realize, but, like, even in the training, when they're doing their 3 days of training, they don't talk to anybody. Like, they barely notice Rue on, like, day 3 when she's looking at them. Yep. You know, like, they do not interact with a single person, and Katniss is very, like, we will not even entertain this.
So is Peeta throwing the weights around a movie-only thing? I don't think that happened in the training. I do not think that happened in the book. I was so waiting for him to throw that pillow.
No, because they don't throw anything. They don't go near. She doesn't shoot.
Which I did remember that. She doesn't shoot. She keeps that a secret. But I thought,
like, they do not show their strengths at all. The only strength that they showed was Peeta decorating the cakes.
King.
That was That's my favorite.
That is genuinely... We're going to hop to the movie just for 1 second. When she finds PETA in that stream, I nearly pee my pants every time. There is nothing but the absolute funniest thing
ever
in that situation.
Yeah, it is incredible. That's crazy. Also, where did he get the things to do that?
It was mud. I do think they described it better in the book, that his body was covered in branches and leaves and all of that kind of stuff, and it was really just his face.
Because the way that they do it in the movie is just like...
Incredible paint job.
Incredible paint job. But like, it's not...
How realistic is that?
Yeah. No,
like it really, I agree. Book, it really sounded like he just put mud on his face and sunk into the mud. And then
I think that's so much more...
and stuff and twigs and stuff around him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, that is.
The rock paint job that he did on that face... Crazy.
Incredible.
Really incredible.
Okay. But yes.
Okay, back to the book. Do we want to talk about the games a little bit? Anything else before the games you want to talk about?
No, I think that's kind of... I also forgot, I think Effie was an interesting character, Paul, because Elizabeth Banks really took a lot of liberties with Effie.
I think she made Effie a lot more likable.
She did.
She made her a lot more human. Like, she did. She added a lot of humanity to her. I think, like Katniss says that Effie's kind of an idiot, but she has good instincts.
Yeah.
At least, which I do think is noticeable, but I think it's just interesting to see...
Elizabeth just really... She really took a small character and
made her big. Yeah, because she really wasn't in it very much.
Yeah, and I mean, jumping ahead, I mean, she's not in Mockingjay.
But she's in that movie.
You
Thank
know.
Heavens.
And so I think it was was interesting. It was interesting to see like a pulled back Effie. I guess is more what I would say. Sure. But yeah, okay.
Okay, in the games, so it starts out. She doesn't run towards the cornucopia at all, which I thought was interesting because she does in the movie.
Yeah.
But she is stalled because PETA is shaking his head no. Because he can see that she wants to go to the cornucopia.
Yeah.
Which I think is... I just think it's so interesting that Katniss has such a good read on people that she's able to recognize what Peeta's saying. Haymitch with his gifts, like she's able to recognize what they mean. She's also so aloof and so like oblivious. It's hilarious.
It's really interesting. But again, she's 16 and there's things that like you are going to notice and things you are going to just have literally no idea is happening around you.
And so I think that was really interesting because it shows her strengths. She was really great at the surviving thing, like those kinds of things. The more like
social cues,
not so much.
Not at all.
But one thing that I forgot was such a big deal in here was the fire.
Yeah.
I feel like that's downplayed in the movie a little bit.
It is.
So it was interesting to me to read that, to see like how big was the fireballs being thrown at her, like crazy. And that was like day 2 or something of the games. Like they really did not let her rest at all.
No, she like truly, they just were like, yeah, let's go.
Also, this is kind of moving a different direction, but Seneca Crane is not mentioned once in this book. He is not mentioned
is he?
Once. They do mention a game maker, but they do not say his name.
Yeah,
he's not the one making the announcements. Like
I didn't even think about that.
They don't mention him till Catching Fire. They do say his name in Catching Fire, but they do not mention Seneca Crane at all, which I found really, really interesting.
Because he does play a prominent role.
A big prominent role in the movie. And it's just interesting, again, to have that kind of context to see... You can picture it a lot better, what's kind of going on behind the scenes, but he's not mentioned at all.
Because we do get a lot of behind the scenes with the game makers and the little like video game dashboards,
the dashboards they're doing. But Katniss gets her first gift from Haymitch, which is the cream for the burns for the fire, which I remember, but I also just feel like it wasn't that big of a deal.
I don't like, I don't know, again, we're really invested in the movie.
We are really invested. I love that movie.
But like, I don't remember it.
But I also think something that's so interesting in the movie, and again,
we'll talk about the movie later.
But we do get the behind the scenes. We get Haymitch talking to sponsors. We get Haymitch talking to Seneca. Like, we get all of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so to see Katniss kind of working through that and unraveling that herself
is
without really any context or knowledge is really, really fascinating.
Again, I think it goes down to, like, she's real good at that survival stuff. And she's, like, really good at figuring out those little clues and that kind of a thing. And then she's oblivious to other things. Love.
But also one thing that with there just being no context of these careers or these other tributes at all. When the career pack came, I was like, oh, there's Glimmer, there's Cato, like, there's all of these people, and they just don't play that big of a role. They play the role of opponent, and that's it. Like, there's no humanity to him, like, nothing at all.
And again,
which again totally
why
makes
would
sense.
Katniss think that they, like, why would Katniss humanize them?
Yeah.
Like, because truly, like, the boy from District 1, you know what I mean? Like, why would she? Yeah. He killed Rue.
Yeah.
Why would she want to learn his name and learn about him after she had to kill him? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just interesting to see Katniss kind of battling who's worthy of humanity and who isn't.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, like, her, again, we see it in real time with Peeta, like, her kind of unraveling how she feels about Peeta, if she can trust him, how much she wants to share, she needs to share to survive, but, like, all these things. I just find it really, really interesting. Like, I feel like that's not something we see very often, people kind of deciding people's worth in a way.
Yes. And you don't get that in the movie.
No. Because you do know plenty about the other tributes in the movie. Yeah. Like, there are a lot more fleshed out characters in the movie.
But you don't get her inner monologue.
Yeah.
And I think that the inner monologue is really interesting to have.
I think it would be really interesting to see a movie first person. Not first person, but, like, from Katniss.
Like, kind of a first person.
Yeah.
Quite honest, I think it'd be really interesting to be Katniss and do it.
Yeah. It would be interesting.
J-Law?
If you're interested, we have an idea.
You just have to provide your voice, essentially.
Yeah. One thing that I think was really sad was seeing, like, kind of the immediate betrayal Katniss felt seeing Peeta with the careers.
Yep.
Like, I do think it was really interesting, and you see her kind of unravel that throughout the book, his intention and everything like that.
Yeah.
But immediately, she had someone who she thought might have been an ally, might have been a friend, and immediately is
with the careers
actively plotting her demise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it makes a lot of sense why she acts the way she does around Peeta when he's kind of making these decisions, and even back before when he decided to be trained alone, like, she just doesn't know.
My heart broke when he decided, you know, and I understand why he did it. It makes sense, but she was sad.
Yeah.
But also, you know, you look at it and you look at a 16-year-old girl who doesn't realize it, but she likes this boy. Mm-hmm. And then he doesn't want to hang out with her anymore. And you're like...
And they're going to be dead
And they're going to be dead.
They only have a few times to hang out. This freaking book.
This is wild.
Okay, so a little inside baseball here. Our mom hates the Hunger Games. Hates the Hunger Games.
So much.
For good reason.
Yeah,
I think especially, like, looking at these with an adult brain, like, truly understanding kind of what this story is.
Also,
totally valid.
I'm sure this is something that does not apply to either of us, which is why I think we can really get into these books. We are not parents.
Valid.
Yeah. I think
also we were of age really when these books were coming. Like, it really probably hit home. But
yeah, poor Judy.
Poor Judy.
I actually didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I was 12 when the first book came out.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I would just like to formally apologize to Judy for ever making you watch these movies.
You don't ever have to watch. We didn't make you watch Ballad.
We did not make you watch Ballad. I want to watch Sunrise. You'll make me the happiest girl in the world. And sob and cry my eyes out at the saddest book I've ever read. Yeah. Anyways, okay, back to the book. What were we talking about?
You said Inside Baseball, Judy hates this book.
Yeah, Judy hates this book. And I think, again, as an adult, I'm understanding why. And I am my heart breaks every single time for this child. Like, I think that's something that is so important to remember, and something I could not get out of my head when reading this, was that Katniss was a literal child during this experience. And, like, she should have been getting her driver's license. She literally, even though they have driver's license last week. Like we always talked about. But, like, I think seeing her thought process, you get glimpses of this is a child.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Throughout all of it. And I think her being hurt by PETA in that instance, like, yes, from a practical ally perspective, it hurt, but the hurt was, I lost a friend.
Well, also, too, if we think about it, like, I mean, after everything, you know, at the with Caesar and, like, PETA's big reveal,
his
you know,
declaration of love,
even though she was peeved about it, you know, but, like,
because she thought it was a game. Like,
she thought it was a game. But then, like, even at that, you know, even if up until the point she sees PETA with the careers in the arena, if she's gone to a place where she's like, this really sucks because he could actually really like me.
Yeah, maybe this is real.
And then she sees him as a 16-year-old girl. She sees this boy who just declared his love, that she's like, that actually, like, and then he's doing that. Like, of course
she's upset.
Of course she's upset.
And she's 16, so she can't logically think it through that maybe there is some ulterior motive behind it. Yeah. Like, it just was really sad, I think, to see, on top of everything else that she's going through, she gets kind of betrayed by this kid who could mean a lot to her.
No, exactly.
It's just
exactly
sad.
Yeah, it just broke my little heart.
I know. But shout out to Rue. She showed her the tracker jackers. She got that down, which was a lot more gory than I remember. Again, I think all of these movies should have been rated R.
Yeah.
Because, holy cow, this book was so much more gory.
Have we gotten a rating yet for Sunrise?
I'm sure it's going to be PG-13. Which...
probably good.
Boo! No, actually, genuinely, for my mental health, I think that's better. Genuinely, I think that's better.
For the sake of the adaptation, though,
we're going to be...
Well, 6s, we'll see. Yeah. Though I've heard nothing but good things.
I really think it's just going to be a lot of things happen off screen. Like, we see the ramifications.
I think we'll see the ramifications of the squirrels. We won't see the squirrels.
That's exactly. We'll see the ramifications of the flamingos. We won't see the flamingos.
You know?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. But anyways.
Sorry.
We're not talking about Sunrise. That episode's going to be 3 hours long.
Do you know what's funny about that, though?
We already have one out.
Well, we have the book episode, and we're going to do a full other recap on the book. But then the movie recap episode is when the movie comes out.
Literally,
like,
we'll see it, and then later that day, record the episode.
Like, that's... Oh, my gosh. Okay. Sorry, back to Hunger Games.
Back to this first book.
We are
trying to stay on topic.
I can't.
Then they kind of get separated. I think the Rue of it all was definitely a lot more heartbreaking than I remember. I think having Katniss constantly commenting on how young she was was brutal.
Tragic.
Was brutal.
Yeah.
But I think it's so, like, real. Like, having, especially Katniss, who has a sister her age, has someone to compare it to, and who is very maternal towards Prim.
Yeah.
Mama Everdeen, I'm looking at you.
Shocking.
To see that transferred to someone she could not save, because she did save Prim. She volunteered, she saved Prim. Her not be able to save Rue was really, really heartbreaking.
Yeah. No, I agree. I also think that it, again, makes me feel so sad for Katniss, because she constantly talked about how young she saw Rue. Mm-hmm. Katniss was just 4 years older.
She was
Katniss is
literally
just
basically as young as her.
Just as young as her. And, like, it makes me sad that Katniss, through the doings of Mama Everdeen, viewed herself in that way.
Yeah.
Do you know what it, like it really took away Katniss's childhood. And like she couldn't even see it as like peers or regular siblings.
Yeah.
Because and like it kind of like, you know, because again, like the relationship transfer to Rue from Prim, you know, because she couldn't even see it like that.
Yeah.
And it just makes me sad.
Yeah, I think it's something, I mean, I don't think Katniss necessarily gives a lot of people the benefit of the doubt, but she never gives herself the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? Like, she is always, like, taking care in the sense of keeping herself accountable, where she's not affording herself the same love and kindness as she affords Prim or Rue, which is very sad.
Which is really sad because, actually, now that you say that, one of the few notes I took while I had my pen...
Because the pen was lost.
Before, like, truly, I don't know where this pen ended up. I made this note right before... It's right after Katniss gets reaped. And she's having people come visit right before she leaves.
Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about this.
I know, which is, again, there's so much to talk about. But this is when, let's see, this is when Peeta's dad comes in. And he says, I'll keep an eye on the little girl. And it's interesting because every person that has come to visit Katniss, besides Mama Everdeen, essentially. Like, you have Gale, you have Madge, you have Peeta's dad. They all look at Katniss, and because of what Katniss has done, they're going to take care of Prim.
Yep.
And they
are going to take on the role
of Katniss.
Of parent. To Prim, because that's what Katniss was doing.
But because Katniss was so... like, to Peeta's dad, like, so kind, you know, and, like... And I think that it makes me sad that Katniss never really saw that version, like, understood, like, how well respected she was as the 16, you know, like, because I'm sure everybody knew Mama Everdeen was not
off her
rocker, you know, and
staring at the fridge.
But it just, like, But it just was interesting. It just like made me feel sad that Katniss didn't realize the impact she had on people.
And also, like, everyone talked about how sweet Prim was and how, like, she was just such a good girl. Like everyone loved Prim. And Katniss never had that opportunity to have that relationship with her neighbors and with the people around her, because she was at 11 years old taking care of people. Yeah. And I think that's a lost opportunity for her.
I also wonder, though, as well, if Katniss also just didn't know what people were saying.
100%.
Because obviously she was very... Well, she even talks about it, how... She doesn't talk about it, but Peeta talks about how her dad always would talk about how great Katniss's squirrels were. And, like...
They were always shot right through.
They were always shot right through. Like, he... Like, people were actively talking about Katniss. Yeah. But I think they talked to her about Prim because she was the parent in this situation. Yeah. And so it makes me sad that Katniss didn't get to have people say those things to her about her. That she... And so it made her not feel like she was as good of a person as she was, you know? And I think that, like... I don't know.
I also think it's interesting, though, like, the times that she does recognize, not special treatment, but treatment from those around her, she relates it to pity. She doesn't relate it to respect, which, like, at the Hob or things like that, when she's making trades with people and doing these things, she talks about how this must be because they know my mom doesn't work and we're starving, like that kind of thing. It's never respect for who she is and how she conducts herself and things like that, and I think it's sad.
I think it's sad. Yeah. No, for sure.
Okay, where do we want to go now? Back to the games?
Yeah, I think we need...
How long are we?
Oh, we're at an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, we gotta cook.
We gotta cook through. Okay.
Rue dies. Rue dies. That was so sad.
So sad.
Let's get to where Peeta and Katniss link back up.
Hang on.
So
we find them in the river.
Yeah, they announced that if you are from the same district, the boy and girl can win. Which I think is interesting because in the movie, we see that as Haymitch kind of
talking it
formulating that with Seneca. And it makes you wonder. I mean, I know Suzanne was involved with the movies. Was that real? Was that for the movie? I don't know. Because, again, we only get Katniss's perspective. But.
Yeah. Again, Haymitch? We've learned a lot about you. I could see you doing this. Again, we don't know anything, apparently. But all I'm saying.
Okay. So they hook back up, and Peeta is hurt. I don't think I realized how badly he was hurt.
I think it's because they cut out so much of it in the movie.
Yeah, also because I think this was a particularly gory part. I mean, he was cut to the bone.
Yeah.
Like, it's a particularly gory part that they had to soften for the movie.
Which, I think him being that hurt and putting the mud on it to lay in the river.
King, what are we doing? I know you're trying to camouflage, but, like, what are we doing? Also, how did you survive 4 days, was it?
Yeah, I think it's something I think that's one thing I forget with the movies especially is how long the games actually are.
But also, I think one thing I'm not entirely sure about is if it was 4 days for everyone or if they had manufactured time in the arena.
That's true.
Because I think, is it Sunrise that they do that? I think there's another, maybe it's Catching Fire. I think there's another one where they realize they've manufactured time.
It's Catching Fire.
So I don't know if days were actually 24-hour periods or if they were.
Yeah, because we
really
we really don't even know in general because we do know that the Capitol edits everything before they give it to the districts, and Katniss herself says it's a few weeks. But is it actually a few weeks, or are they faking airtime? Because we even learn in Ballad, they have fake airtime that they run for a while. Like, what are So it's.
So, saying that he was cut to the bone for 4 or 5 days, whatever it was, might not have been for 24 hours.
But for what the book says...
4 days.
4 days.
And I don't know how this poor boy survived.
I don't know.
He was in bad shape when Katniss found him.
Yeah.
Very, very bad shape. So, it makes sense. But I do think it's interesting when she finds out that they could possibly win together, immediately she wants to find him.
Yeah.
And this is after the thing with the careers. Like, he did save her in a lot of ways with the Tracker Jackers, but she doesn't know she was hallucinating that. Like, there's still a lot of gray to that situation.
Yeah.
But the fact that she immediately wanted to find Peeta when she found out there was a chance they could survive together is
very interesting.
Very telling. And I just think it's so interesting to be able to clock these things about Katniss, that Katniss can't clock herself.
Yep.
And, I mean, that's obvious that she likes him.
She likes him.
Because she wanted to save him. And she knew he was hurt.
And she knew. And I think, like you said, I think that's just an interesting, that she just doesn't, she's so good at survival, but she's 16.
She's 16 and she's never loved a boy before.
She's never loved a boy. Oh, to be young and in love.
Oh, to be 16 and in the Hunger Games and in love. But I think...
your partner.
Literally. But I think it's interesting to see her start to play up the romance. Like, I think it's interesting, even though she doesn't understand romance necessarily, she understands it's a means of survival because of how Haymitch is sending the gifts. Like, I think it's interesting because in the movie, there's notes.
Yeah.
There's not notes in the book. Like, it is 100% her interpreting what Haymitch is doing and doing it so correctly and accurately without even... I mean, her and Haymitch didn't spend tons of time together.
They did not.
Like, the instant that they... Or how instantly they understand each other is fascinating.
Crazy. And again, we know too much about the backstory of, Haymitch and the Everdeens. And so, but it's just like, it's so interesting how she almost has the relationship that he has with Burdock with Haymitch. Like, she kind of just was, like, there was something so intrinsic in her that understood Haymitch.
Yep.
And I think that that's so fascinating. Again, there's so much more we'll get into in November. But Yes.
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's interesting to see her figure out how to play up the romance since she doesn't really understand it. And to see her, like, inner dialogue of, I'm doing this for the cameras. Maybe I'm not. I'm doing this for the cameras. Maybe I'm not. Like, just totally not know what she's doing.
Going on. And I think that, again, we'll talk about the movie next time, but I do like the depiction of that. Even though we don't get the inner monologue from Katniss, Jennifer plays it so well in the movie of like awkward settling in that you do, that it was like really easy to picture outside of Katniss's mind in that moment because it is, she's like, I'm doing this for but like, actually, am I? What does this mean? Cameras are here, you know, and it was just very, I thought it was nice to kind of have Jennifer's visual of, because she did that so well of like, what is going on?
Also, one thing I loved is they are in that little cave thing for a couple weeks. Like, I think at least 2 weeks of
games time.
Which I loved how long they were together and how, I mean, obviously the Capitol was loving the romance storyline, so they let them stay there. Yes. But it was interesting to see Katniss take care of Peeta take care of Katniss, like them really get to bond.
It was nice to have someone take care of Katniss.
Yes.
Because Katniss doesn't have that.
Yeah, not
at all. Like, again, not even with Prim Reaper himself. There's still, like, he doesn't.
There's a mutual understanding between them, and they know how to benefit each other, but there's no taking, like, no. There's no care.
There's no just
necessarily.
Like, Peeta's just taking care of her. Like, that doesn't happen in anywhere else.
Yeah.
Truly. Yeah. Besides Haymitch. But
she doesn't know
She doesn't know that.
Like, this is the first time I feel like she's really able, well, like, since her dad died, we'll say, able to really see someone just looking out for her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I loved that. I thought that was, like, so crucial to their love story because I think sometimes it can feel, like, rushed and not well fleshed out, where it was really well fleshed out in the book.
Yeah.
They really
give it the time.
They give it the time to,
that they don't, I mean, they don't have the time to give in the movie, really. But you do really get to see the back and forth,
and you get to know both of them. You get to know both of them. You get to know, like, they talk about the bread story. They talk about when Peeta first fell in love with Katniss when he first saw her. Like, there's so much sweetness and tenderness in those couple weeks. Yeah. That you do forget that they're in the middle of the Hunger Games. Like, it is such a beautiful sidebar to the games. The chaos and violence that's going on around them.
I completely agree. I think it's,
So I love that the game makers gave them that time.
Yeah. Yeah. And again,
even though obviously, I mean, their intentions weren't that, but like,
again, I think it's just I think them having that 2 weeks or whatever is such an interesting perspective in the games, because again, you kind of realize how incredibly influenced the games are by, like, they're not
so manufactured.
They're so manufactured. They're not, I'm not going to say rigged, but they're manufactured for sure. There is that like the fact that the Capitol was able to just like let these two hang out in a cave for weeks.
Yeah.
And like,
because that's what the people wanted.
It's like,
it's icky in a way.
Yeah. President Snowman.
Well, it also just shows the disregard that they have for humanity. Yeah. Like, it is games to these people.
Yeah.
It's not... We are forcing these children to survive while the other children are trying to kill them. Like, there's none of that. This is a cute little storyline for our movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no, this is... Yeah.
It's interesting how well those reminders are put in the book and, like, placed so expertly that you are constantly reminded how evil everything is.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's one thing that we've never read Ballad, but we've seen the movie. And
I am
people were pretty compassionate to Snow.
Yeah.
In the movie. Because I think we don't
get his inner monologue.
Those inner monologues. We don't get those constant reminders of just
how
evil and how calculated everything is. So it's interesting to see in this book just reminder after reminder after reminder that this is.
But again, you
awful.
also have to like pull yourself out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because again, like we were saying with the 2 weeks in the cave, like you said, it's easy to get lost in it.
Yeah, because it's sweet.
It's sweet and so it's one of those things that like you're like you have to kind of pull out and be like, no, they're in the Hunger Games. They're hiding for their lives right now.
Which I think is interesting because I think as this book has become such a big part of pop culture and everything, you know, you have people saying, oh, I'd be from this district, or I'd be from this district, or I'd be from wherever, Capital. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so obvious to me that Suzanne was trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
Like she kept instilling in there how evil this is. And like how intentional it was. Like there's just so many layers to this book.
Yes.
That I think it's funny. Like if you take it at face value, sure, that's kind of, it's like, you know, what Hogwarts house are you in? Like people were doing that with or like with districts. Like those kinds of things. Like, but there's so much in the text that is like a warning against that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's a warning. They're warning us.
Well, I think also it's just, I mean,
it's just fascinating to me.
It's fascinating. And I mean, we all joke about it, but truly, she gave us Sunrise to remind us how stupid we are.
And holy cow, did she.
But do you know what I mean? I just think that, yeah.
It's just interesting to me. And I think, I mean, this is kind of a bigger topic. We are in a literacy crisis in the world right now. Like, there's just a lack of reading between the lines and understanding the depth of what's going on.
Yeah, the story behind it.
Rereading this as an adult is so blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
That I missed as a kid, for sure.
Well, yeah. Well, but also I think, like, as a kid, did I have any context of, like, the world that would, like, of what this actually, like, what an evil dictator actually is. Yeah. I mean, you really don't, you get, like, glossed over, you know, some of the big ones in history class, you know, we get to hear, you know, you're like, oh, yeah. Hitler.
Yeah.
And then they're like, bad guy, dictator. And you're like, okay. But, like, now as an adult and, like, having researched more things out there, you know, you're like, oh, it's actually, so this complex. Is insane. And the way that, you know, the little things, the way people get you and all it's so interesting. And so it's taking these books.
Like, the fact this is a YA novel is wild to me.
Crazy.
Like, the fact I read this is like
a 10-year-old
child is crazy.
Is insane.
Because there is just, it's just so well done and so, I'm trying to think of the right word. Like, well,
I kind of look at it because as a 12-year-old, it was very entertaining. I did not understand the grotesqueness of it.
That's the thing, and like even like, but there's a sense of removal from the storyline as a child because you do have that child innocence in a way where,
and you know, like,
you know, it's a book, like you know this isn't real. So with adult eyes looking at this and understanding the humanity in it, and like, we've seen wars, we've seen people die, like,
we've seen things happen,
like, it hits different.
It hits, yeah. It's just really interesting, and I think it's kind of an interesting thing that she was able to kind of do that. Because you hear, like, it's almost the reverse of this, but, you know, like, when a lot of this is a weird analogy, so bear with me, but if you remember when the Nickelodeon documentary came out, they would talk about how they would do jokes for kids, and they would do even more inappropriate jokes that would go over the kids' heads that were for the adults watching. this is almost a semi-similar idea of like the kids get it and then but not in an inappropriate way like it was for the Nickelodeon stuff. But it's interesting how, you know, because like now as an adult watching those shows, the Nickelodeon shows, you're like, oh, how is
this ever allowed?
You know, but it's like, it's interesting how we can now look at this book with an adult eyes and see how we missed things as a kid, which I'm glad we did. I'm glad that like we
couldn't relate to this as a child. Like I think that that is definitely a testament to how we grew up.
Yeah, that like I would never. I look at Katniss and I'm like, when I was 16, I did not have to worry about making sure you were eating.
Yeah. At 11, you didn't have to make sure I was eating. Like, I just think it's interesting to come at this with an adult perspective. If you read this as a child and you haven't read it since, I would encourage you to reread it because it is laced with so much I just think depth, and I think truly, and I think that this will lead more in Catching Fire, just how we have to be diligent human beings and read things for ourselves and like do our own research because we truly can't rely on anything. Yeah. Because it's so easy to make things up.
Well, because I mean, literally, if you've listened to us talking right now, we genuinely don't believe the timeline that they give us.
Yeah.
Were Katniss and Peeta in the cave for 2 weeks? We don't know. Was Peeta laying in a pond with mud on his leg for 4 days?
We don't know.
We don't know because truly,
we don't know.
We don't know, and Katniss doesn't know, and it's just an interesting thing that like looking at like. I don't know.
I found it very, very fascinating. Okay, let's get to the end.
Yeah.
I think one of the, having the mutts be the tributes is crazy. We'll start with that. But I think that's something that it was obviously glossed over in the movie.
It wasn't even mentioned in the movie.
But I just think that is such a sick thing to do. Like, I think it's so interesting to see the way that the game makers put these like sick little twisted things that like to remind us that they're games. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's so interesting how
and I think to remind us that the Capitol is in control.
Yeah.
That like
where Katniss is like, I don't know if these mutts have their memories, if they've been altered to hate us or to recognize us. Like, just that kind of fear,
psychological
warfare is
like, come
crazy.
on. And that was,
and I also didn't realize Cato took that long to die.
I didn't either. Sad. That was really heartbreaking. Because again, in the movie, it's pretty quick, and we also don't get the back story of the mutts.
Yeah.
You know, we do get the backstory of the mutts in the Hunger Games, but better.
And let me just tell you, it was beautiful. But I also think that last, like, Cato's death was so important to Katniss's character because she did humanize him.
Yeah.
You know, she was the one who kind of delivered the final shot.
To put him out of his...
a mercy
kill.
Yeah. Like, it was interesting. And then to have that change in her in a way where she was able to look back, because after that she looks back on the rest of the tributes and is able to, like, I don't want to say she feels shame, but she feels remorse for what happened in a way I don't think she was able to before.
No,
because she hadn't. She was figured it out.
And I also like you said, like she humanized him. It was kind of, I don't know, like it was that, I think also with the mutts specifically and them coming out, I think that was like one of the first big like look at, holy crap, what is the Capitol doing to me? Like, like
it was an eye-opening experience.
Like, I think it was eye-opening between the humanity of the tributes and the
what
game
an
makers.
Insane
what
thing
is
to do.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Like, it was so...
It crossed so many lines that how could you be changed by that?
No, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Then we get the berries, which I think is so interesting that they I feel like the movie doesn't do this scene justice, because they turn their backs to each other and count, which is the ultimate sign of trust. Yeah. Like, they are not watching each other do that. They trust each other that they are both going to take the berries at the same time without looking at each other, without any sense of, like, security in that.
Yeah.
Which, coming from where Katniss was with Peeta to that, I think is
really cool.
And especially, and that we get the context of them in the cave, that it's really cool to see that change.
No, I agree.
And then obviously they win. They let them both survive. Mm-hmm. And I thought this scene with Haymitch and Katniss, when he hugs her and says, "You're in trouble. They are not happy with you. Like, you have to play this off as you were just so in love." Mm-hmm. It's really interesting, because even and she says this is the hardest part of the games. Like, even after everything she's been through, the hardest part is she has to convince people that she and Peeta really were just so in love that they had, like, there was not an ounce of rebellion in that decision at all. It was, like, purely, like, I think it's interesting that she, at the end, the hardest thing for her is not lying, but being putting inauthentic on this facade.
Yeah. No, I think that's heartbreaking, and I know we've said this 40,000 times, but Haymitch saying that to her after everything that happened with his games.
Oh my gosh. And his return home.
Oh my gosh. But, like, it's heartbreaking, because he's so worried for them.
That's it. Like, he is,
because he knows,
desperately trying to make this okay,
because he knows what will happen. Mm-hmm. Truly. Mm-hmm. And like, again, I know that's context that we technically do not have yet, but I don't think that, like, you can see that, and you can see how, like, I mean, because he looks at, like, what the games did to his relationship with her dad.
Yeah.
Like, how they couldn't be friends anymore, mm-hmm. you know, and, like, and so I just think that it's like, even more panicky and heartbreaking mm-hmm. when he has this conversation to explain it to her. And I think, like, it just, like, it made it worse.
It made it 10 times worse.
Everything about this book has been made worse because of Sunrise.
Suzanne.
But that's our fault.
Best book I've ever read. Best book I've ever read. I love Sunrise
so much.
But I also love, even after they'd won, Haymitch is still looking out for them.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't their mentor anymore, or, like, in the same kind of a way. Like,
but he's still going to keep up.
He still is so
dedicated.
Which I think is something that people miss a lot in Haymitch because of his action. Like, because of his facade.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then she breaks Peeta's little heart. And it makes me so sad.
It makes me so sad.
It makes me so sad, because, you know, she cares about him.
Yeah.
And she knows she cares about him. She just can't figure it out. And I do think there is a bit of selflessness in there, where she doesn't want to have kids that could potentially be reaped one day. Like, there is, why would she ever put kids Peeta through that? Yeah. I know, but why would she trap Peeta into a relationship like that? Like, I do think that is selfless of her in a way, but I think the way she goes about it is very wrong.
Again, she's 16.
Like, I think it's so interesting how we're constantly reminded of her age mm-hmm. and how young she is.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just one of those things of, like, she doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And
she's worried about stupid Gail's feelings.
And if we're going to be completely honest, doesn't it mirror, to an extent, what Haymitch does after everything goes 100%. Down? Do you know what I mean? Like, if she's looking to people who have survived being a victor, the only person she knows is Haymitch.
Who has she says in there, no wife, no kids, no friends, is alone all day, just drinks. Like,
Like, that's the only
frame of reference she has.
So, again, I'm not saying that you blame her, but, like, what else is she to do?
Yeah.
Like, truly. Mm-hmm. She doesn't know what to do. Yeah. So she's gonna do what she sees and what she normally would do.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, she kind of just gets into protector mode, shuts everybody out, and just gets to work.
Gets it done.
Yeah. I don't know.
But, I mean, even at the end, I think, even with kind of the coldness that Peeta shows her after, understandable.
Yep.
They are still looking out for each other.
Yeah.
Which I think is sweet.
And I think that's something that never
goes away. 100%.
Yeah. Even, and you see that throughout the whole book. Even when Katniss feels betrayed by Peeta, he's still, with the Tracker Jackers, helping her out.
Yep.
Like, no matter what, they are still looking out for each other. And 100%. So, and that never goes away despite everything that happens.
Yeah. 100%. Okay. Well, that was... You guys. Very long. If you made it this far, literally DM us or comment, we'll send you something.
Not even
That's kidding. Not even a joke. We will send you something.
We will.
Because you just sat through a very, very, very long episode. But we love this book so much.
If you couldn't tell,
we are so passionate about this book. And next month, for the month of July... Dun, 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 dun. Catching Fire. Shocking to no one. I am so excited to read this book because this book is kind of heralded as
the best
up until Sunrise.
Which I think Sunrise has taken a huge cake.
So I'm very, very excited. So for the month of July, we're reading Catching Fire, and
first Tuesday in August. We will be here
talking about this one. Again, in 2 weeks, we're going to be watching the movie and talking about the movie a little bit. We talked about it quite a bit. It's hard to separate. Yeah.
And I am going to tell you right now, the next time we talk about a book, there probably will be more references to Sunrise on the Reaping.
So unfortunately, this one's going to be littered with
this
them.
Is going to
So if you haven't read Sunrise, yes, we are reading in November.
In November. Or October.
We're reading it in October. We're talking about it in November. You might want to read it.
You might want to read it because
we're going to be talking about it.
I know you don't believe us. We tried really hard this episode to not talk about Sunrise on the Reaping and just about the Hunger Games. Don't look. Don't look.
I'm just so excited.
But this one I'm not even gonna try and
wait. No, we will try.
We'll try, but I'm not even gonna.
It's not.
It's not gonna happen. But I will try my darndest.
We will try our darndest.
It's not gonna work.
So overall, any final thoughts for Hunger Games?
A great read.
So much better than I remember. I remember it being great, but there's just so much more to it than I remember.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I loved the additional context of things. I think my favorite part missing was the AVOXs.
Me too.
And I loved that part in the book.
That or the extended cape scenes.
Yeah.
I loved the extended cape scenes.
I agree. So, but overall, it was such a good book.
It's so good. If you haven't read it,
go read it. I thought it's a great way to start off the series. Mm-hmm. Because I do really like the not knowing.
Yeah. I really do too. It is not a miss in this book for me.
No.
Okay, so a couple of housekeeping things. We do have a Google form that we post before at the end of the month, so that if you want to contribute to the conversation, you can go on there as well, or we'll post on our stories a little box. But if you want a little bit more thorough, there's a Google form. That does not collect your emails, in case anyone's worried about that. It's anonymous. But anyways, that will be on our TikTok and our Instagram, and we will be posting that at the end of the month so that you can participate as well, because we love hearing from you guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed Hunger Games, and we're so excited.
We're so excited. Thank you for letting us dedicate this hour and 40 minutes of our podcast to the Hunger Games.
And we'll continue to for the next 4 months.
Yep.
Because this is genuinely so important to us. Like, it is ridiculously important to us. And we are so excited.
And we really are grateful that you're letting us talk about it in here, and we're not taking it up.
And you did let us talk about it in the other one, but we are self-aware enough to understand that was probably annoying. So,
especially just weeping all the time.
Just us literally crying about Sunrise. So we appreciate this dedicated episode.
Yeah.
But again, if you made it this far,
truly DM us.
We will send you.
We will send you a whole care package. Like truly, because you are the real MVP.
You are the real MVP.
Even if it's just you, Mom, which I don't even.
I'll send you a care package, even though I bet you didn't watch this one because you hate the Hunger Games. Which, valid.
Again, very valid.
I'm giving you kudos on this one.
Yeah.
Valid.
Yeah. But yeah, so.
Okay, well, this was the longest episode ever. We love you guys so very much.
So much. Thank you for listening, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks on this to review the movie.
Yes, and regularly scheduled every Friday.
Friday.
Okay, we love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.